FM 94.0.
Reviving communities.
The views expressed on this program do not necessarily represent those of Revive FM or its management.
Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. Hello, welcome. Welcome everyone. Today you are tuned into Revive FM 94.0. My name is Saad Farouk and I have with me
Brother Mahi.
So myself and Mahi, we are both hosts for the late night debate night shows, which run from Mondays through to Fridays, every day from 11 p.m. to 12 p.m. Now, Ramadan Mubarak to those of you that are listening that are Muslim, and to those that are not as well. Still Ramadan Mubarak to you lot. But yeah, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for tuning in to us. And just so we can get this straight out of the way, we are going to have a discussion today with some very learned people and educated people who are, they've taken a lot of work and they work with the community a lot. But before we get into that, if you do want to call in, if you want to talk to us, if you want to have a little bit of a chit chat, please feel free to call us on 0333 444 0940. Once more, that is 0333 444 0940. So today we have the topic of absent parents.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, absent parents. Now, this is a huge topic, okay? And we've got a lot prepared today, so I think let's jump straight in.
Yeah.
Let's not diddle-daddle anymore.
Yeah.
So let's invite our guests on. So first of all, I like to call forth Maria Mahmood. And for those of you so I'm not going to introduce them. I want this to be more of a discussion. So I want them to introduce themselves. So Assalamu alaikum, Maria.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Amazing. And we have our second guest.
And I think this is Brother Sharif. Sharif, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. How are you, Sharif? All good?
Yeah, not too bad. How about yourselves?
Yeah,
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Great. So thank you both for, let me just get this out of the way. It's 11 p.m. in the evening. A lot of people are coming back from Taraweeh. They're tired. Their legs are, they're aching. But right now they're in their cars. They're in, at home listening to the radio. And hopefully we can have a really nice discussion today, just touching on the idea of the impact that parents have on the upcoming generations, and maybe we can have like a little discussion with that. Okay, so for those of you that have just joined in or a bit late to the show, welcome. This is Revive FM 94.0. My name is Brother Saad. I have my co-host Brother Mahi. We're both in the studio, and if you do want to take part in this discussion, in this conversation, please feel free to call us on 0333 444 0940. Now let's get into introductions because I've talked a lot. So let's go straight to you, Sister Maria. Could you so for the viewers that are listening, maybe just explain your role, who you work for, and maybe just like a short description of the work you do?
Sure. So I am Maria. I am the director at Muslim Youth Helpline. We are a 20-year-old mental health, emotional support helpline. We are faith and culturally sensitive listening support service. That's been around for 20 years and we operate across 4 platforms. So essentially we are a helpline where young people can call us in to get some support, some guidance, some emotional support, and we're open every day.
Amazing. And Mahi, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, Brother Sharif, if you wouldn't mind just doing the same. Yeah.
Hi, so I'm Sharif. I'm the volunteer coordinator at the Kids Network, and what we do is we connect children from the local area to mentors from their local area, which they do sessions with for a year for about on a one-to-one basis. And we work with children aged between 8 and 11, so a primary school age, and they've been identified to have experienced some one or more forms of adversity in their childhood. So the aim of the mentoring is to essentially help them improve their emotional well-being, their resilience, and equip them with tools to help them manage their emotions better and just open their world out a bit more and get them to sort of have more positive experiences. And Brother Mahi is actually one of our mentors.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Amazing. So Mahi doesn't know this. I didn't tell him at all, but I am going to ask him a few questions today as well.
Okay.
How it is being a mentor, being part of, this community work. It's very important. A lot of people They think, oh, it's just community work. What am I going to gain from it? But I think, we have two very big guests here. We have the Kids Network and we have Muslim Youth Helpline, who are both going to talk to us and kind of let you guys know the impact that absent parents have. Now, let's jump in. Let's stop going around in circles. So, first question. So the idea of the topic today is absent parents. Okay, now absent parents, that could mean hundreds of things. But Sister Maria, maybe in your experience or the work that you have done, why do you think absent parents is an issue, or why do you think having a role model is necessary? What do you think on that kind?
So, I mean, we'll speak about parents, but actually role models, parents are a child's first role model, the person that they look up to, the first kind of example of someone that they look up to. And just experiences from the helpline, it's so tough to be a young person. From the helpline, what we see is that there are so many struggles that young people face and have to juggle. And the idea is that a role model is an example set for them. It's a role model shapes young people's attitudes and values, and then almost supports them in navigating that very difficult world that they see themselves in. Within the helpline, we get calls around all sorts. And you can imagine if you were looking at a mainstream support service helpline, the kinds of topics that would come up in a mainstream support service, we get very much like those challenges exist for the young Muslim as well. And that's when role models come into play. Role models are there to support you and navigate you and provide you that template to, and we're talking about a good role model here, provide you a template of what success could look like. And that's why it's so important. They almost, when you come up to particular barriers in your life, and you will as a young person, as anyone does, a role model is there to support you because they've either been through that or they can foresee that it will always be okay. And as a young person, you may not necessarily see that. You may not see that there is light at the end of the tunnel, but you have examples in your life that can support you through those usually dark moments.
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but do you think there's much of a difference between a Muslim child or a young person and someone who's a non-Muslim? Do you think the issues are completely different, or do you think there's an additional struggle for younger Muslims? It's a bit of a tricky one.
No, it is tricky. Yes and no. Those main issues that young people face are very similar across the board. But when it comes to young Muslims, they have a unique some of those unique issues that are additional to what the ordinary white counterpart young person would come across. Things like identity issues, things like issues around Islamophobia. The makeup of your family unit is very different to what most other families are going through. And so when you come into the helpline, we do have issues around things like family relationships, navigating those relationships, mental health within the Muslim community. All of these are added concerns, and every community has those unique issues that their young people face. So the Muslim community is no different to that. It doesn't mean that we've got more concerns, they're just very different. But you still have those other concerns. Like, for instance, since the beginning of Ramadan, on our helpline, the calls around eating disorders have increased. Now, I'm sure any other helpline would have very similar concerns across the board, but we are just facing this very particular rise in calls during the month of Ramadan. It doesn't make the issues very different, but it's just the navigating of those issues for young Muslims.
Okay, thank you for that, Sister Maria. That's an amazing introduction for it. I'd like to just turn it to Sharif now. Of course, Sharif, you said that the Kids Network, they work with kids from the ages of 8 to 11. Do you think that's the perfect time for a child to have a role model, or do you think it's needed earlier or later, or is that the perfect time? What's your opinion on that?
So I think in terms of when children need role models, I think pretty much from birth, it's really important to have role models from the get-go. As Sister Maria said, initially your parents are those role models. Your parents are the people that you mimic, you copy, and you look up to. And I guess sort of the reason why the Kids Network works with children aged between 8 and 11 is because we've identified that that age is very much a crucial age in a child's development, because that is the transition for them from them going to primary to secondary school. And it's often the case that it's in secondary school that potential issues can arise if not addressed earlier. So we work with children aged between 8 and 11, because if you intervene at that stage, you can make a huge difference to a child and alleviate potential problems that could arise later on. And we feel that addressing like intervening and mentoring a child at that age, it's the proactive solution rather than reacting to a problem that happens later on in life. So that's why we work with that age.
So I have a question. Now, this is going to seem really weird and it's going to be a bit off, but what happens if, primarily when we talk about role models, a lot of children, they think it's their parents or they think it's a footballer. But realistically, if we're talking about 21st century, how we can live our lives and how children can learn from someone, if a young person doesn't see their parents or the people surrounding them as a role model, what happens then? What's the solution? How can we help that person if that person doesn't see anyone as a role model? They're quite, I don't want to say arrogant or argumentative in that sense, but how would you explain to a young person that if you don't have a role model, what's the next steps for them? How would you support them in that way?
It's a very interesting question. And I guess to me, it begs the question, why does that child feel like there isn't an adult or there isn't a person in their life that they can see as a role model? I think especially the children that we work with at the age we work with, it's very, very rare that a child of that age wouldn't see any sort of older adult as a role model, unless there was something holding them back, unless there was something that had happened there in the past, or there was something that was a barrier almost up. And I'd sort of try and overcome that barrier. And then I guess what I'm trying to say is often we find that, especially for some of the kids we work with, even if they don't warm up to their mentor straight away and they may not see them as this role model straight away, for the majority of the cases, after they've worked with them for a while, those walls do start coming down, and that child then really does start benefiting from that mentoring.
Great, thank you. I think we've had a lot of extensive answers. I think this is such a difficult topic because absent parents could mean millions of things to different people. Absent parents could mean that some children, they have parents, but they don't consider that they are being supported at home. And they think in that sense that the parents are absent. And in other cases, we have some children who don't actually have parents, unfortunately. And sometimes they have to step in and they have to help their parents in fulfilling that role. For example, either being a father figure for the siblings, or even being a mother figure for the siblings as well. So I think it's a very detailed and it's a very difficult topic. Even now, I'm struggling to kind of talk and engage because it's not that it's making me feel uncomfortable. It's just that it's a topic where I've known so many people throughout my childhood, through primary, secondary, college. Now I'm in university. I know so many people that they don't have someone that they can look up to. They want to, but they just can't see in someone. I mean, myself and Mahi, we both studied in the same class. I can sufficiently say our teacher, we look up to him a lot. I'm not sure about Mahi, but I do. Now, I consider him to be a role model, but not in the sense that my parents are. So it's a completely different thing.
I think with the parents, in terms of like a role model, it is a bit difficult to look at them as a role model in the 21st century, because a lot of the things that a young person is going through right now, the parents can't relate. And I think that's maybe like a problem that Sister Maria, like you might come across it quite a lot, that the kids, they can't relate to their parents that much. And like, because of that, they don't see them as a role model. So like, how do you deal with that kind of stuff?
So yeah, that's a really interesting point. When it comes to mental health, that's one of the barriers we see for young people opening up. We actually see lots of barriers for why young Muslims may not discuss mental health, and it starts off at the home level, and that is that there isn't usually when in regards to the young people that do contact us, there isn't usually a safe space that is created within the home. And that means that there isn't trust or confidence in someone at home to discuss openly your mental health concerns or your just simply your well-being concerns. And we're not talking about severe mental health issues. If you're a young child, even just talking about how you're feeling and how that makes you feel and why you may need a break or why you might need a bit of support or just a little discussion about what's going on.
So,
And that's a huge issue, that if it's not happening at the home level at that age and that individual cannot find it anywhere else, then they're suffering alone and they're bottling it up, and that can then lead to severe mental health concerns. And it's interesting when we talk about the age that the Kids Network actually functions at that particular age, because actually a lot of mental health concerns can begin at the age of 14 and develop into something severe if they are not tackled at that age. And actually at the age of 14, there is that huge possibility that they can be tackled and can be supported at that young age. So it's so important that, the intervention that these organizations, that intervention space is of that particular age. They've kind of nipped it in the bud there very much.
So we've got 2 minutes before we have to jump off to the break, but I've got one question, just a really, really simple question. In terms of, I think it will be a bit different with the Kids Network and the helpline. In terms of the helpline, you must get a lot of calls, like you said before. But I'm just wondering about the different types of calls you get. So, for example, some cases might be a bit more severe than others, or some people, youngsters, they just want to talk to someone. What do you think is kind of the majority of the calls that you get? Is there kind of like a theme, ongoing theme with a specific age group, or is it just kind of random different things for everyone?
So I know we've not got a lot of time here, but those issues that come into the helpline are very vast, and we actually track the primary concerns, and they are from suicidal ideology to bereavement to loss to talking about relationships and navigating them, to eating disorders, to educational concerns, bullying, navigating the world, COVID issues, family issues, toxic relationships. You can imagine I
think the list goes on and on.
They've probably not even touched a percentage of those.
Yeah.
But yeah, they are vast, and we get almost all of those. And also a lot of safeguarding concerns come into the helpline with young people just are crying for help. And they've not ever spoken to anyone about something that they've bottled up for a very long time, and they've used this helpline to kind of have the first space to engage with someone about this.
Amazing. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Sorry, I don't want to cut you guys off or cut this short, but we will be back after the break, guys, or we'll only be a couple of minutes. But for those of you that have just joined in halfway through the show, this is the late night debate night show where we have a debate, where we have a conversation, where we just have a little bit of a talk on a specific topic. And today our topic is about absent parents and the lack of absent parents in some cases. So if you do want to call in, if you do want to join our conversation, feel free to call us on 0333 444 0940. And one last time, that is 0333 444 0940. And we will see you right after the break.
अब हम धीरे धीरे लॉकडाउन से बाहर आ रहे हैं। घर से बाहर 6 लोगों तक के ग्रुप में या 2 खानदान आपस में मिल सकते हैं। दोस्तों को गार्डन लंच पर बुलाइए। लीजिए, आप अपने हिस्से का काम कर रहे हैं, एक मुनासिब फासला बनाकर। लेकिन जब अंधेरा होने लगे और थोड़ी ठंड भी, तो अचानक से दिल में आरामदेह लाउंज में जाने की ख्वाहिश जाग सकती है। लेकिन याद रखिए, ताज़ा हवा में आप ज्यादा महफूज हैं, क्योंकि कोविड-19 के ज़र्रात इसमें उड़ जाते हैं। आइए इस अगले कदम को इंतहाई एहतियात से उठाएं। याद रखें, हैंड्स, फेस, स्पेस एंड फ्रेश एयर।
मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन में आपका अतिया जिंदगी की उम्मीद। आपकी मदद से मुमकिन हुआ दुनिया भर में 30 लाख से ज्यादा खवातीन, बुजुर्गों और बच्चों तक साफ पानी की फ्राहमी। मुतासरा इलाकों में हंगामी इमदाद, यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों की दादरसी। इस साल हम आपके ताउन से और आगे बढ़ना चाहते हैं। अपनी ज़कात, सदकात और खैरात के जरिए इन मंसूबों का हिस्सा बनिए। अभी कॉल कीजिए 0300 3030 777 या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org.
Rosia Plumbing, the boiler specialists. We do new boiler installations, full house central heating systems, underfloor heating, boiler repairs, boiler servicing, and gas safety certification for landlords. With some of the best prices in town, there's no job too big or too small for our qualified engineers. For a free, no obligation quote, contact us now on 07956 282 948. Rosia Plumbing, the boiler specialists.
With over 40 years experience in the industry, Plachette Carpets is the place to go for all your carpets, laminates, linos and wood flooring. We have an established network of suppliers, which means we can offer some of the best prices in town. We offer free estimates, free measurements and now even free fitting. Call us now on 0208 472 8568 or visit us at 157 Plachette Road, Upton Park, London, E13 0QZ.
Super Best Meze Grill, the Turkish restaurant where all our food is prepared to perfection. Our mixed grill family platters include lamb shish, chicken shish, Adana kebab, lamb ribs, chicken doner, chicken wings and lamb chops, and all are served with rice, salad, along with a selection of our cold mezes. To see our full menu, go to superbestmezegrill.co.uk. For the perfect dining setting, visit us now at 21 to 23 Broadway, Stratford, E15 4B, or call 0208 555 335. Super Best Meze Grill.
Looking to get your finances in order? MR Accountants has you covered. We provide a full range of accountancy and taxation services, including annual and management accounts, self-assessment tax returns, VAT, bookkeeping, and payroll services. We ensure you're kept up to date with the latest legislation, and our client-focused approach helps us plan your business finances from savings to investments. We are MR Accountants. Visit our website at mraccountants.com or call us on 0203 432 9138.
अब हर कोई हफ्ते में 2 बार मुफ्त कोविड-19 टेस्ट कर सकता है। आधे घंटे के अंदर नताइज आपके सामने। इससे ये पता चलता है कि आप अपने प्यारों की हिफाजत के लिए जो कर सकते हैं वो कर रहे हैं। आपके दोस्त, आपके साथ काम करने वाले साथी और आपकी जिंदगी में फिर से आगे बढ़ने की ख्वाहिश। अंदाजन 3 में से एक शख्स ऐसा है जिसमें बज़ाहिर कोविड-19 की कोई अलामत दिखाई नहीं देती, मगर अनजाने में वो उसे फैला रहा है। वो आपका कोई दोस्त, रिश्तेदार, काम का साथी या आप खुद भी हो सकते हैं। रैपिड टेस्ट बहुत आसानी से nhs.uk/get-tested से मिल सकते हैं। आइए ये अगला कदम बहुत मोहतात होकर उठाएं।
Revive FM
94.0 on the radio,
on your mobile,
and online.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Revive FM 94.0. Today, we're hosting a late night debate night about absent parents and the impact on our generation. If you'd like to get into the conversation, the studio number is 0333 444 0904. So yeah, before the break, we were talking about absent parents, of course, and we have the Kids Network here and the Muslim Helpline. But I kind of just want to turn the attention to the Kids Network for the moment. And before the break, we were talking about like the importance of good role models and, you know, and all of that. But I kind of just want to turn that a little bit. And, you know, Sharif, from your experience, what are the dangers out there for a child having, you know, like the wrong role model or like a bad role model? What are the dangers out there for that?
So children are very impressionable. And I think especially at those younger ages, children look to adults for guidance, and they often will mirror the sort of actions and activities of those older adults that they look up to. So this may mean if they have the right role models that they mirror good actions and sort of good activities and stuff. But if they have the wrong role models, they may mirror actions which aren't necessarily good, and they may not know or be able to distinguish between right or wrong because they're seeing their role model doing it. So to them, that's an okay thing to do. And of course, this can lead to sort of problems down the line later in life, especially if those bad role models have an effect on that child from a young age. Then as they grow up, they may think that certain things are okay to do when in reality they aren't.
Yeah, so okay, so from the kids network point of view, how do you guys like to step into that? Let's say that there's a child and he's been under your kind of the mentoring for a few months now, and he hasn't, they haven't really changed, and they're going kind of even worse. Maybe they have a bad role model. How does a kid network? How do they deal with that kind of that kind of problem?
So the work that we do, it doesn't always. I mean, mentoring. So we have our program runs for about 12 months, and we don't always expect the effects of the mentorship to take effect immediately. And the purpose of the mentor is to be a consistent figure in that child's life, a consistent positive figure that child will see every week. And while that mentor may not, in this example that you've raised, why they may not have an effect in the first 3 months, if that consistency is maintained and those sort of positive behaviors are shown in a sort of consistent manner over the course of a year, then we find that the majority of the children we work with, we do have an impact on, and we can sort of guide them down sort of a better path if they weren't on the right one and if they were at danger of going down the wrong one. And the second thing that I would say is that it goes back to that thing with early intervention, and a lot of the children, well, some of the children that we work with, they may not necessarily have been involved in anything sort of like too problematic yet, but they've been identified as potentially being at risk of sort of going down that path. So early intervention is sort of the way in which we can sort of tackle that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Sorry, I just want to jump in there. So we've been talking a lot about the children and youngsters and how they are affected, but I think sometimes for the wider audience to see the bigger picture, I think we need to sometimes talk to the mentors and to the people organizing these kind of services. For example, we've got the helpline and we've got the kids network, but we also have Brother Mahi. Now, I did warn him before, I'm going to question him a few times. But no, in all seriousness, your mentor with the kids network. So Sharif is the volunteer coordinator at Kids Network, and you are a volunteer. You're a mentor for the Kids Network. Okay, there we go. It's a bit confusing. Now, within your work or how you volunteer with the Kids Network, what kind of stuff do you do? Being a mentor, what do you do? Because I don't know still. What do you do as a mentor?
So it's about giving, I think, the child like that space, and like how our sister was talking about that like that, what's the word? Say that like kind of free space to be able to talk about anything that they feel comfortable with just to someone. And I think that just that in itself, like being able to be there for a child, even if they're just from the ages of 8 to 11 and haven't maybe come across with problems yet, but just being able to be there to be able to talk to them and for them to talk to you. And I think just that in itself is kind of the main thing.
I think, another important thing for us to kind of take into consideration, myself and Brother Mahi, we teach as well. Yeah. We teach youngsters. We're there to give that a service as well. But through my years of teaching, I'm not that old. Yeah, I'm still 20. But in the couple of years that I've been teaching, what I've noticed is that different children, they respond differently to the way you talk to them. Yeah. So, for example, especially before lockdown, some of the students that I had, they were so chatty in class. They would not, they wouldn't stay quiet for 2 minutes. They would ask me a question when I was teaching. That's just the way they are. They have that kind of personality. But on the other side, now that we're in lockdown, everything's online, they don't talk at all. Like, I'll say their names at least 5-6 times, on a Zoom call, and they will take the time to respond. And I think it just goes to show that every child has a different way of communicating and understanding things. And I think this is kind of the beauty of, London and technology, is the fact that Brother Mahi is here as a mentor. He's able to provide a safe space to these children physically by being with them, once a week, just giving them that, freedom to talk to them. And on the other hand, we have Maria and her organization, who kind of provide an online service where if kids don't want to talk face to face, they can kind of just do it over the phone. You know, a lot of people, they like to text nowadays, and I think that's the great thing. And I keep smiling because, you know, when I was younger, you know, I might have had mental health conditions, but I think other people have, you know, a bit more of a severe, they have much more severe mental health issues nowadays. And I think the fact that these services are here is great. I think is amazing, because I would have loved it when I was younger. Maybe there were some, I just maybe was too dumb to know about them. I don't know what it is, but the fact that they are here and the fact that, you know, we're letting everyone know that they're here is great. But yeah, okay, that's enough of me ranting. Not ranting, just talking a lot. But I kind of want to turn the attention back to you guys. You know, we've talked about why role models are important, why, you know, having a safe space is important. But when it comes down to role models, you know, let's get a bit more personal here, because we're half an hour into the show. I really want to kind of, you know, we're just scratching the surface. It's a huge topic for us to talk about. Now, Sister Maria, I want to bring you back in. In terms of mental health and youngsters, you know, the title of our show today is Absent Parents. And I want to be a bit more specific here, because I think, you know, an absence of a role model is understandable. But in the case of some children where they don't actually have parents in their cases, or if they are missing a parent, or whatever their situation might be, why do you think they are slightly different to other children who might have mental health issues because of an absent role model? You know, I think we have to still understand the importance. There could be someone who doesn't have a role model, and there could be someone who doesn't have a parent who could have been their role model. So, I mean, what do you think is the difference? Because I have my opinions, but maybe we can hear from you on that.
See, I don't think we should differentiate. If you have a role model in your life, whether that is someone that is a guardian or a parent, an elder sibling, a carer, whatever form that they take, that is a positive role model for you. And especially if they are a good positive role model, and you should never really differentiate, because you are deterring that person away from, well, if it isn't your parent, then it's one notch down. Well, that's not really the case. You know, a positive role model is a positive role model in your life. And you can be lucky enough to have a house full of adults, and none of those adults can be positive role models for you. So in that case, you know, you're literally back to square one. So it's so important that whoever that is, that could also be that, you know, you mentioned, you and Mahi had mentioned a good positive role model from your teacher. You know, I don't know when you left school, but you still recall that teacher being a positive role model. So that's so important, the impact that an individual can have in your life, and those lessons learned wherever you take that could be on the sports field, that could be in the classroom, that can be in the masjid, wherever it is, you know, that person is spreading some good in you and showing you some good values and actions that you think, actually, I like that. And I'm impressed by that. And at that young age, you are very impressionable. When it comes to mental health and the impact that role model can have, when you see someone who's older than you, who's leading a particular lifestyle, who is showing positive an attitude towards life, it almost makes you confident in the future. It makes you think, like, actually things are accessible, makes you a bit more optimistic about things. And as you're growing up, you are going to come across many barriers, but that positive role model is there to tell you, actually, those barriers do exist, but you can overcome them. And that's the beauty of it. You know, when we have loads of people coming to the helpline, and the smallest things are impacting their life, because they don't have someone there to say to them, actually, this is okay, but we can overcome this together. You're not alone in this, right? So let me hold your hand. Let's go get over this barrier. Because you know what, you're going to have probably a few barriers in your life, but the thing is, you will overcome them, and you will become stronger after each one. And to get to that lifestyle, that, you know, that end game, wherever that you want to be, that role model will show you that I actually also had to go through a lot of these barriers, a lot of these obstacles in life. So it's not just the role model showing you that everything's all glory and glamorous and amazing. They're there also to show you that things might not be okay, but they will be okay with support. And there's always support out there, and you don't have to be alone in whatever you're going through.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Maria. That was a very it was a great answer. It covered everything. But I just wanna, because I have screens here. I can see everyone on the split. But Sharif, you were nodding along to basically a lot of what Maria was saying. And I think again, you guys have very different organizations, but the work you do is basically delivering the same service in a different way. Now, Sharif, did you want to add anything onto what Maria said, or maybe respond to the same question?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to echo and sort of add on to what Sister Maria said. I think she's very, very correctly said that children need, and from the Kids Network perspective, we say children need champions. Children need those adults that are going to celebrate them. They need those people in their lives that are going to tell them they're proud of them and tell them well done when they've done things. And also, as Sister Maria said, pick them back up when things don't go their way. I think one of the things that we do, so part of our program is a goal setting stage where the children will work on little goals with their mentors that they aim to do sort of by the end of their program. And these goals can be anything. They could be a really little thing like tying one's shoelaces or navigating the way on the tube. But what it shows those children is actually there's something that they couldn't do before. And if they put their sort of mind to it and they work hard, even if they're not able to do it straight away, they're going to be able to do it later. And later on in life, because they've seen that actually I can do this thing. If there's this thing that's maybe hard and I can't do it straight away, I can do it later on. So yeah, I mean, being role models are there to sort of show positive behaviors and a positive lifestyle, but they're also there to sort of really champion that child and really amplify their voice and make that child feel heard and make them feel sort of understood and sort of reassure them that that they can achieve things and that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fall down sometimes and they'll pick them up afterwards. So yeah.
I think that's a really nice thing, because I was just thinking about the goal that my mentor set me. And it was a football skill that I still can't do, but he's so encouraging and tries, oh, you can do it, and it's so nice to have that. But I kind of just want to say to Sharif, of course, both of you have spoke about the importance of having a positive figure in one's life, and especially in a child's life. So Sharif, how do you know before the mentoring starts, how do you know that that person is going to be the right person for that child? How do you know that how do you know he or she is gonna be the right person for that child?
See, this is the age-old question. It's something that we're sort of trying to figure out and get better at as we go on. So as a charity, we're about 4 years old, and so what we'll do is with the children we work with, we hold workshops in the schools where the children will talk about traits they want in their mentors and things that are important to them. For some children, gender is really important, so they really want to some of our boys will say they want a man, and some will say they don't mind if they have a man or a woman. Some will say they want someone with the same skin color as them. Some would want the same religion as them. They might say, I want someone who plays football, like Mahi's mentee did, and just things like that. And then I sort of it's not an easy one. I mean, and we don't always get it right, but I think we try and make sure that our mentors represent their mentees in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, and we don't always get it right. But I mean, without going into too much detail, I think Mahi and his mentee are a great match.
Thank you.
Amazing. Sorry, I don't want to cut this short again. I feel like I'm being the bad one here, cutting everyone off. But we do have to go to a break, unfortunately. We will be back after a couple of minutes. But for those of you that are listening, you are listening to Revive FM 94.0. And for those of you that have maybe joined in halfway through or a bit later, there's no issues with that, although you should have started when we started as well. But today you're listening to the show of Absent Parents, where we are talking about the importance of having a role model of, like Brother Sharif said it, of champions for these youngsters. And if you do want to join in with our conversation, with our topic that we are discussing today, feel free to call us on 0333 444 0940. And one more time, that is 0333 444 0940. And we will see you right after the break. Assalamu alaikum.
ये आयशा है, ये बहुत छोटी सी थी जब इसके वालिद का एक हादसे में इंतकाल हो गया। वो अपनी माँ और छोटे बहन भाइयों के साथ रहती है। आयशा जैसी लाखों बच्चियां जिंदगी की बुनियादी सहूलतों से बिल्कुल महरूम है। यही वजह है कि वो स्कूल भी नहीं जा सकती। मिनहाज वेलफेयर फाउंडेशन ने आपकी एहतियात और अपनी खिदमत दुनिया भर के यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चों के लिए वक्फ कर दी है। एक यतीम और बेसहारा बच्चे का सहारा बनिए। आज ही अतिया कीजिए।
अभी कॉल मिला 0300 3030 या हमारी वेबसाइट विजिट करें www.minhajwelfare.org.
Amigos, the signature name when it comes to burgers and shakes. Our succulent burgers are prepared in front of you while you wait. Whether you go for our 6-ounce Mexican or our 10-ounce Texan, or you decide to go for our messy fries or our buffalo wings, one thing you're guaranteed is quality. Dine in with your friends and family at 400 Cranbrook Road, Gants Hill, or order in on Uber Eats, Just Eat or Deliveroo. Amigos, hats off to great burgers.
Turkish Kitchen, the best Turkish food you'll ever taste. We only use the highest quality meat. Along with our mixed grill platters, we serve cold mezes, hot mezes, lamachin, and a wide selection of fish options. To order for delivery or collection, call us now on 0208 507 8822. That's 0208 507 8822. Or visit us at 41 Ripple Road, Barking, IG11 7NT. We can also take group bookings and take care of all your party needs. The Turkish Kitchen, Barking.
If you want to advertise your business on Revive FM, then visit www.revivefm.co.uk or contact our sales team now on 07944 565616. That's 07944 565616. Advertise with Revive FM.
अब हम धीरे धीरे लॉकडाउन से बाहर आ रहे हैं। अब हम दोबारा से बाहर मिल भी सकते हैं, लेकिन हम सिर्फ मिलने से ही खुश नहीं होते ना। क्या कुछ पल के लिए जल्दी से गले मिलना नुकसानदेह हो सकता है? 3 में से एक शख्स जिसमें कोविड-19 के कोई आसार दिखाई भी नहीं दे रहे होते, मगर वो अनजाने में इसे फैला रहे हैं। वो कोई दोस्त, कोई रिश्तेदार या आप खुद भी हो सकते हैं। है तो मुश्किल, लेकिन ज्यादा पास मत जाइए। आइए इस अगले कदम को इंतहाई एहतियात से उठाएं। याद रखें, हैंड्स, फेस, स्पेस एंड फ्रेश एयर।
This Ramadan, order all your groceries from Waris Food Store. Based in Walthamstow at 420 Hoe Street, we have everything you're looking for, from fresh meat to fresh fruit and veg, along with all the traditional Desi food items. We also do deliveries, so place your order now and call us on 0208 521 0000. That's 0208 521 0000.
Nikah, talaq, counseling on matrimonial disputes, Islamic wills, Islamic law of inheritance, or an Islamic verdict on any other issue. The Muslim Sharia Council is at your service. We provide official certification, and our experienced and highly qualified imams are available to provide you with guidance when needed. MQI London is based at 292 to 296 Romford Road, Forest Gate. We are open from Monday to Friday, 2 to 4 p.m. or alternatively, call us now on 0208 257 1786.
Revive FM
94.0. On the radio.
On your mobile.
And online.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back from the break. My name is Saad and I have my co-host with me, Brother Mahi. Now, for those of you that are just listening, that have just joined, welcome, thank you for listening. Please make sure you comment on our YouTube, on our Facebook, and on our live streams that we have going. So, today we have the topic of absent parents, the importance of of having a role model. Sorry, my brain is now fuzzled. The importance of having a role model. Now, for those of you that are listening and want to take part in the conversation, please feel free to call us on 0333 444 0940, or if you prefer to text us, you can also text us on 0333 444 0940. Now, I was just made aware during the break that someone is basically, well, people are basically commenting on our Facebook, and I can see the stream live here. Amazing. Okay, so I do have a comment from Brother Muzammil Rafiq, who is a very important player within Minhaj al-Quran. Now, he has commented, and I quote, "Parents need to play an important role in communicating. Having grown up with first generation parents, I never could imagine going to my parents with issues, etc. There needs to be more clear communication." So that was a comment from one of our viewers. And I think it's a very important comment. You know, we've talked about youngsters and children, and we have the Kids Network here, and we also have Muslim Youth Helpline here, who are explaining to us that they are providing these services. But on the other hand, I think, you know, sometimes it's a case of educating those who are taking care of these youngsters, enabling them to know that they are young, they are slightly fragile, they need space sometimes. You know, they need not just space, you know, for us to stay away from them, but to give them a space where they can talk, where they can interact, where they can speak to them about certain issues, and, you know, maybe not, you know, get told off just by saying certain things. And I think that's the most important thing. So let's start by asking, I guess, the same thing. You know, Sister Maria, why do you think, you know, it's great and all that we're giving a space to youngsters, but on the other side, do you think we should maybe focus a bit more on the people looking after these youngsters, so the carers, the parents, even mentors sometimes? Do you think we should maybe focus on them and try to explain to them why it's important for us to look after the upcoming generations?
Yes, most definitely, and something that's the bigger charitable aim of Muslim Youth Helpline isn't just to provide emotional support for young people, but that outreach and engagement within the community, so that anyone that is connected to young people, who has any connection with young people, is equipped and resourced to have these tough conversations, so that if a young person feels confident to seek support from this individual, that they know exactly how to provide a non-judgmental, non-directional support service environment for that young person, and they can provide that emotional support, and that they uphold those values, which are that, you know, if this is a safe, confidential space and we aren't going to be judgmental, so please open up and be honest about what you need support on and what's going on. And in terms of parents or guardians or anyone trying to develop that safe space, we always have these like few tips on how to do that, and some of those are quite easy to make sure that when your loved one is approaching you, to make them feel confident and comfortable in that space that you've created. But also, as parents, don't assume that they're ready to talk to you and that you are the right person. If your child, your teenager, doesn't feel comfortable speaking to you, then get them support. Find someone else, an alternative means for them to trust or engage in, because it might not be you, but you can also be the channel to get them support through someone else. So that's also very important. It's important to create that safe space, and that physical space is very important. But also, when they are speaking to you, don't try to jump to conclusions or try to fix things straight away. Let them speak. I know as a parent, when the alarm bells are probably going off and you're very concerned, and that's completely okay. But if they've just created that trust with you to speak, so let them speak freely. It's probably taken them a lot of courage to speak up about something that they've bottled up for a very long time. So let them speak without you showing some facial expressions or wanting to jump in or wanting to fix things straight away. Let them just speak before you want to rush and fix those things.
I think that's, sorry, Maria, I don't want to cut you off, but I think that's, you know, very important. You know, a lot of the viewers that are listening to a late night debate night show at 11 o'clock, a lot of youngsters are sleeping right now. So I don't think we're impacting that much on the youth. Maybe some of them who are very interested in debates and talk shows, you know, kudos to you guys. Amazing. Thanks for listening. But I think this is why I wanted to touch on this last, you know, just so we can kind of really accommodate for everyone that's listening. And I think I want to ask Brother Mahi this question. You know, being a mentor, being someone who helps or provides a space, again, I keep saying that word, but I like the way it sounds. And it's practical as well, you know, provides a space for a young person. What do you think for the parents or the carers or the guardians or whoever they are looking after a young child? What do you think something that they could do that could help these youngsters?
I think they need to understand that children make mistakes. and it's not just children, but it's everyone makes mistakes. So like, for example, sometimes a child makes a mistake and the initial reaction is to just shout at them, even as a teacher as well. Like the child is naughty or something, we just shout at them. And I think we need to understand that it's like a different generation now, and I think shouting like it doesn't work, or it's more about understanding, okay, why did you do that, and about like creating that safe space. And about that safe space, I kind of just want to turn it now to Sharif and Sister Maria. But how does someone create a safe space? Like how did they go about doing that with a child or with someone like Sharif? How do you expect the mentors to create that safe space?
So I guess first for mentors specifically, I guess first that child's got to trust you before that child comes to you with anything. That child's got to trust you. So in order to create a safe space, first you've got to sort of understand their needs, understand their wants, understand what they like doing. So for example, for some of our mentors, we sort of recommend that in the first few months, they not expect too much from their mentees in terms of them opening up. So we say, do activities that your mentee likes doing, play football, do arts and crafts, that sort of thing. And sort of you find that once the mentee is doing that, once the child is doing an activity or engaged in something that they feel comfortable in, then they find it much easier to open up. It's a lot harder for them to just straight up have a conversation and be like, this is how I'm feeling, this is what's making me sad, because children may not aren't fully able to sort of fathom that the same way in which adults are. So creating a safe space is really making sure that child is doing something they're comfortable with. And also body language, making sure your body language is inviting and not closed off, not sort of folding your arms and sort of like almost inviting sort of an argument or sort of a sort of heated discussion, and really like making sure that child feels heard and that child feels validated and their feelings are validated, and telling them it's okay that they're sad, it's okay that they're angry. Even if they haven't responded to that anger or sadness in the right way, not to punish the feelings, maybe to talk about better responses to things, but never to punish the feelings. I think that's what I'd say.
Sorry. No, I completely agree. I think, going back to what Brother Mahi said and adding on to Sharif and even what Sister Maria said, I think it's about being inclusive. I think it's about being understanding and not, saying that I'm the older one in this conversation, you have to understand me. I think I think we should change the mentality a little bit. And I think, I don't want to say this, but I think it is a bit more common from what I've seen in, in households that are a bit more cultural and a bit more strict in the rules at home. And I think it's this whole thing about parents being correct all the time. And I think it's always about, the person who's older is right. And I think, in some cases, that's absolutely fine. But I think sometimes we need to kind of tone it down, come down to the level of the children and kind of understand what they want to say. Because if we keep kind of rejecting them and telling them they're wrong and telling them that this and that and what they say is not, applicable to anything, then I think that one day they're just going to switch. One day they're going to break and that's it. It's going to be very difficult to bring them back. And I think, that person could have been a huge member, someone who helps out in society, someone who could do betterment for the world. But instead, as someone who is older, we have now kind of broken them down. Even though it wasn't intentional, we could have done that, and the only person left to blame is someone who didn't give that space. And I think being an adult, being at a certain age where you understand these certain things, I think we should all take responsibility. Even just saying, hi, how was your day? Or, how's your school been? Even when I teach, I teach at a mosque. The school life has nothing to do with my classroom. If they talk too much about it, I then stop them. But at some point, you need to ask them, how's school going? Homework's not too much, is it? How your teachers like? If they just started a new class, what kind of environment do you have? You made any new friends? I think these are small things that make such a big difference. Because hold on a second, my teacher asked me, did I make any friends? And the next day they're going to go to school and they're going to ask, what was your name? I talked to you yesterday, but I didn't remember. And they're going to go back to me and they're going to say, oh yeah, I made a friend called Harry or Josh or whatever their name is. Yeah. And I think that's where this communication happens. It's professional, but it's still a bit more to their level. You know, I don't want to talk to them like I'm some kind of principal and you know, when the 80s or the 50s. You know, it's 2021. We need to kind of talk to them like they're children. They are children. You know,
Yeah.
they're not adults in a child's body. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Anyways, we've got a couple of minutes left, and I just kind of want to ask you guys if you have any closing remarks in terms of, you know, maybe something you want to tell our viewers, or maybe something you just want to explain, or maybe something you haven't said yet. So I'm going to start with Sister Maria. You know, we've all had a very nice long discussion about absent role models and why role models are important. So Sister Maria, this one's for you. What do you think? Do you have any closing remarks? Anything you'd like to say to our viewers?
I think the closing remarks and something that you've just mentioned is if the adult is going to have barriers up, and we always say that it's so difficult to speak to young people because they have these particular barriers. Well, adults have similar barriers, and those barriers are not to be open-minded and closed off and not accessible to the young person. So as much as we want the young person to break down those barriers, we also have to break down those similar barriers so that the young person can interact with us. In terms of mental health support, I just want young people to know that you always reach out for support. There are so many services and that are providing online support that are open to you. Speak to someone that you trust, and don't bottle up your feelings, that there is always someone there to support you and help you. You never have to be alone or go through something alone. Especially as a Muslim, there are many organizations.
Amazing. Thank you, Sister Maria. That was a very quick, short message, but I think it got the message out there that we need to be very clear to youngsters, you know, if you are listening, or even as a parent, you know, tell that to the children that there is a space, you know, tell us when you're comfortable. Don't tell us now, but when you're comfortable. So thank you, Sister Maria. And Sharif, same question to you. Do you have any last comments you'd like to make?
Yeah, I guess the thing that I'd like to maybe summarize this wonderful discussion with is to sort of any parents out there or sort of older siblings of younger children, you can make such a huge difference to the rest of that child's life if you make sure you put some of these things into practice. Sort of intervening and setting that sort of like base of like a safe space from a young age is really going to make such a huge impact on that child once they hit those sort of like teenage years, where it can be a lot harder to sort of break down those walls that can be built up so quickly if the right sort of support isn't provided to the child at a young age. So yeah, to any parents out there, if you've got young children, really nurture them, really give them that safe space and really make them feel heard and talk to them.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sharif. And lastly, I'd like to ask my co-host, who's been co-hosting with me second week now. We are going to do a few more shows, but for today, Mahi, do you want to say anything to our viewers? Do you want to explain anything? Any last comments? Anything?
No, I think Brother Sharif and Sister Maria, like everything they said was perfect.
Absolutely.
But I think it's just so important, you know, like if you want to talk about something, find someone. There are people out there. There's great organizations like the Kids Network and the helpline. You know, get in contact with them. Don't bottle it up, because the more you bottle it up, it just keeps on building up, and then it explodes. So, you know, don't keep it in with yourself, and just try to be positive. That's all I would say.
Amazing. And I think it's midnight now, so perfect. Good morning, everyone. No, but yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. First, to get this out of the way, thank you so much, Muslim Youth Helpline, Sister Maria, who's been representing. It's been amazing to have you on the show. Thank you. Likewise with Brother Sharif and the Kids Network. These guys are huge. They do so much work, and I don't think people understand the recognition that they deserve. They deserve so much more because they're helping youngsters. These people are the children that are going to grow up and be the next people that lead the community, that lead our future. And I think it's very important that we take care of them and we nurture them, like I think Brother Sharif said. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. Thank you so much for taking time out of, bedtime, for being here, for, allowing people to kind of understand the importance of role models and, why sometimes there is a lack of a role model, but how we can kind of learn and interact and, learn from one another. So thank you so much, guys. It's been a pleasure having you. For those of you that are listening and have stayed till the end, thank you very much. without you guys, we wouldn't be able to basically have a radio station. We wouldn't have anyone to talk to. It might just be us four here talking. But to be honest, when we talk, we're basically thinking about the audience. So thank you so much. And my name is Brother Saad. This is Brother Mahi as well. And we're co-hosts. We always do our show on Tuesdays. We've got 2 left in the month of Ramadan. Hopefully they go as well as this one, I think. But yeah, for anyone that wants to call in next time, please feel free to call us on 0333 444 0940. Please check out our socials. And if you want any more information, feel free to visit our website, which is www.revivefm.co.uk. And finally, thank you to both Maria and to Sharif, who have taken time out and have been representing the organizations. So Jazakallah everyone to that's listening, Jazakallah to our guests, Jazakallah to Brother Mahi for co-hosting with me, and thank you very much everyone. This was your late night debate night on the topic of absent parents. I hope everyone stays well, get some sleep, and we'll catch you next time. Assalamu alaikum.
अब हर कोई हफ्ते में 2 बार